Welcome to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, the daily talk show with the voice of Penn State football and men's basketball. You never know what special guest may stop on by any given day. Now here's the man of the hour, Mr. Steve Jones.
Great to be with you on the show today. We closed out the show yesterday by saying that the next step we would talk about in the show would be scheduling. And I thought Matt Campbell's response to it was actually spot on, because the format of the college football playoff, I think, determines how you want to schedule.
And what do you mean by that? Explain what it you
well,
mean by
in other words, if they are not going to take into account strength of schedule, which they really don't, they're really taking like, hey, you're 9-3, you're 10-2. That's about, the simplistic way of doing it.
Yeah, it's just wins and losses.
I mean, who's the better team? You're telling me, for example, let's use an example. Texas goes 9-3. They're penalized by playing Ohio State, which takes their strength of schedule and kicks it way up, even though it's a road loss by one touchdown, but it's a road loss. And, yes, they did lose twice in the SEC. I got that. I understand that. But they're on the outside looking into the playoff. Meanwhile, you have James Madison and Tulane in. Who's the better team? I mean, not even by a competitive margin.
Yeah.
It's not even okay. It's okay if Texas is playing Tulane or James Madison, they are a minimum 20-point favorite. So what does strength of schedule mean? So if the college football playoff is going to really not take into account strength of schedule, well, then why bother? And that's where it comes down to. So what's happened now in the SEC is this. The SEC is going to 9 games. Do you know what 9 games means? 8 more losses. Right? Tell me I'm wrong here.
You're right.
Right? That's what it means. When the Pac-12 led the way, it's hard to think the Pac-12 led the way in anything with Larry Scott in charge, but we're going to 9 conference games. All the coaches said, you just guaranteed us 9 more losses. Or or whatever the number was, 6, 6 more. I think it was 6 more losses. They were 12 teams. 6 more losses. Well, the Big Ten, of course, goes to 9. And the same thing. Now you're up to 18 schools, right? I think so. You guarantee 9 more losses in the conference. Well, what does that do? Now, if the format is 24 and not 12, now you can be more adventurous with your schedule. Why? A Texas goes to Ohio State. They lose the game. What was it? 14-7 was the final. They lose the game. They end up 9-3. Guess what? Texas would be hosting a first-round game. They wouldn't be in the top 8, but they'd be hosting a first-round game. In all likelihood, they would win the first-round game and become a legitimate threat in the next round. So that's where scheduling comes into play. To me, 24, and that's why I'm baffled by the SEC with this.
So may I make a joke here?
Sure.
So I saw this posted. So
I'm sorry. Oh, wrong.
So ESPN,
just to let me know why I'm supposed to laugh here.
So ESPN put out their top 20 strength of schedule teams. Of course, every SEC team is in the top 20. I saw someone commented on this, and it was basically back and forth. Who has the strongest strength of schedule? This person replies, the SEC. Other person says, why? Because they play a bunch of SEC teams. Well, how good are the SEC teams? Really good, because they play a bunch of SEC teams. Well, how do you know if the SEC teams are better than teams from other conferences? Well, they're better because they play a lot more SEC teams than teams from other conferences do. And it's just a back and forth. How... I get the idea of scheduling, strength of schedule and all of this. How do we know every SEC team is just better because they play SEC teams? Like, as we've talked about the Big Ten, Rutgers hasn't been great. their records.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're in the Big Ten, do they get the Big Ten bump?
Look, they're because Vanderbilt's better now.
Yeah.
They're trying to tell you that top to bottom, they're strong. For example, Minnesota's going to play Mississippi State. Mm-hmm. I think it's their second game of the year. And, yes, it's an SEC team. Mm-hmm. They're also the worst SEC team in the SEC. Mm-hmm. I mean, look.
The amount of times I've heard, well, the 6-win SEC team is better than an 8-win or 9-win ACC and Big Ten team. I'm like, what?
Like, nobody.
Win your games.
Nobody knows. Just play.
Yeah. There are some teams that are, of course, going to be better. Like, of course, we've seen in the past with Alabama's and Georgia's, and you've seen it from other schools across the board. Like, there are teams that are better. But why is every SEC team just in all of them are in the top 20 in the schedule? Because they're playing one another.
They aren't.
But that shouldn't. No.
The SEC does a brilliant job when they had 8 conference games of staggering their schedule in such a way where it made you feel like every time the national TV game came up in week 2, oh my God, it's Florida against Tennessee, right? So they always made it seem like, A, there was an SEC game every weekend. B, it was a big game every weekend.
Well, it's the SEC, so it is.
But Florida plays Tennessee. Back in the day, it was a big game. But they did it in such a way where they staggered the schedule. We're like, every week's a big week in the SEC, or the rest of the games are schmucks. The national game they picked, right, is really good.
Alabama's taking on the Citadel.
Right? I mean, look, the SEC has really good teams. I would say in the Big Ten, I'd say 75% of them are really good teams. Yeah. I would say in the SEC, maybe 75 to 80% are really good teams. You know, some are great, some are excellent, some are really good, right? But they're about the same. The problem is in the Big 12 and the ACC, they can't say that because once you get to the middle, the drop-off begins to happen.
It becomes more like 20 to 30%.
So years ago, this is many years ago, the Big Ten put together a deal with the Pac-12 to play games against one another. It was the Big 12, the Big Ten Pac-12 series. It was going to be football opening weekend, and it was going to be basketball like the first week of December. And the basketball games were going to be played at neutral sites. Like we're going to bring teams to the United Center in Chicago, bring teams to the Staples Center, or now Crypto.com Arena in L.A., so forth. They picked like 3 or 4 sites they were going to do it. What derailed it was USC had commitments, including a non-conference game with Notre Dame, and they're like, and Stanford was the same thing. They had Notre Dame as well on the schedule, and they kind of sat there and went, we can't like tack another game on like this, especially because they had 9 conference games. They had 9.
You've got 11 of your 12 games set,
right? And all of a sudden they're sitting there, and USC is like, well, wait a minute, like we have our traditional game with Notre Dame. Now we're going to put this one in. Right? Stanford was in the same boat, so that scuttled the whole thing. If you go to a 2014 playoff, you can take that 10th game if you want. And if you wanted to put together a Big Ten SEC challenge, you could. Now, the TV networks have to get involved in it because the SEC's ESPN, and, of course, the Big Ten is Fox, CBS, NBC. I mean, you have to be able to, put that stuff together, but you would have the ability to do that. You'd have the ability to do that. Sometimes it works out for you. Oklahoma was helped by beating Michigan last year at home, an SEC Big Ten matchup. Texas was not. They lost at Ohio State. Now, Oklahoma has to go up to Michigan this year. Ohio State has to go down to Austin. But people are clamoring for those games. The entire purpose of this now is completely changed. It used to be, let's get together, let's play a season, let's get to the Rose Bowl. We win the conference championship, let's get to the Rose Bowl. Let's win a division title, take a shot at getting to the Rose Bowl. That's no longer the case. For virtually everybody now, it is playoff or bust. Right? So you end up going to, we ended up going to the Outback Bowl, you end up going to the Citrus Bowl. It's a great trip, the whole thing. It's extra game and extra practices to get ready for the next season and things like that. And people watch. Let's not pretend people are not watching the games. They are. That's why we were talking about the patch thing yesterday. Penn State is between 3 million and 8 million, depending on the game of viewership. So on TV, that patch would be sitting there like, hey, okay? And it's worth every dime those people are putting into it, because every time they do a close-up of the quarterback, whomever it happens to be, and he's got the patch on, you're like going, okay. Guy scores a touchdown, you see the patch. The fan in the stands doesn't see it. But when you're getting 3 million to 8 million per game, that's great. Fans, though, look, Penn State this year, for the first time in years, does not have a Power 4 team at the front. The last year was the first year. This is the second year of it. Next year, Syracuse is on, so now you do have 10. And I think the entire format of the playoff determines whether you can do that. Now, not everybody's Iowa. Iowa literally has 1/3 of its schedule done every year. Done.
Set.
Because they have Iowa State. They have now, because the Big Ten said, who's your rival? They've got Minnesota, Nebraska, and Wisconsin every year because everybody agreed to do it.
4 games locked.
So they've got 4 games locked in every year. All they have to do is just like schedule 2 non-cons and just wait for the conference to get a hold of them, tell them what the other 6 are. But I think the playoff format determines how adventurous you can be. You can absorb a loss early in a high-powered non-con game and still get to the playoff if it's 24. If it's 12, Texas has already shown that you play a high-powered non-con, you're not getting there if you lose the game. Because now the margin for error for the next 11 games has gone from this to this.
And that's why Alabama plays College of Charleston, or people play.
Well, those games are being eliminated.
I know.
Right? Because they're going to the 9th conference game. See, but the SEC's margin of error just was reduced by playing 9 conference games. You have now guaranteed 8 more losses in the SEC. You've guaranteed 8 more losses in the SEC. That's what a 9th game means. So when it comes to scheduling, part of it, Matt's right. I'll say that the part that they didn't get into. What is the format of the playoff? The format of the playoff determines how adventurous you can be in your non-con, because an expanded playoff allows you to go out and say, you know what? Okay, let's put together a home and away with Georgia.
But at 16, you have less wiggle room. 24, you got a lot of wiggle room.
Yeah,
you have more.
Exactly. Among the power schools, you do, and now you have more attractive games. And a game like that may end up determining seeding, for example. Still important, because guess what? You get a home game out of it.
Also, it may benefit programs in the ACC and Big 12, because then if you're them, you say, you know what? We are going to schedule a game if we can with, let's say the ACC and Big 12 did a scheduling thing. If you're a Clemson, and let's say you've got a loss or 2, and at that point, it would probably knock you out because of the ACC and the weirdness.
That's right.
We've seen it with Clemson, with Miami, and all these schools. When you beat Texas Tech or someone like that, it may help you.
You could,
because all of a sudden it gives you a bigger benefit to go schedule a game. Yeah, you're maybe not going to get the SEC or the Big Ten, but you can try and get them. And let's say you beat them. Let's say Syracuse beats Washington.
We'll see, but Clemson may not do that because they've got that mandated game with South Carolina at the end.
So let's say Syracuse beats Washington. Let's say that happens for some reason in the future.
Sure.
Syracuse beats Washington.
That's great.
It's a great thing. It's a win, and it helps them. Will it hurt them? It could hurt them, but it also is scheduling a Big Ten opponent. So it's got the positive there. Syracuse can schedule Penn State, which they have now. All of a sudden, if you're them and you beat Penn State, let's say that happens, That's a huge added bonus for you.
Yeah.
So these schools in the ACC and Big 12, they can lose 1 to 2 games and try their shot at a big fish and beat them. And if you're the Big 10 and the SEC, you can schedule these other guys in the ACC and Big 12, and they look good on a schedule. They're at least some sort of opponent that is a Power 4 conference, looks decent. And if you beat them, you're good to go. If you lose to them, it's not the end of the world.
Right.
Like, it adds a little more mixing outside of your conference, which helps.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot here.
No, but people, look, when Penn State scheduled Auburn, at that point, Auburn had changed coaches. Gus Malzahn was out. Brian Harsin was in. And nobody knew what kind of team he was going to have. He had Bo Nix at quarterback. He had Tank Bigsby at running back. Game in Beaver Stadium was electric. Really great. The next year when Penn State went down there, Auburn was in
flux,
in transition, and Brian Harsin lost his job that season. And Penn State went in there and pretty much dominated the game. But people were excited about getting them on the schedule, and that was always my point about the Pitt series. It was that, who would you rather play? The Pitt series is interesting because next week, it's 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today, I'm speaking in Altoona at a breakfast, the Blair Chamber. And I think it'll probably come up.
Oh, yeah.
Because my experience, and again, I literally...
You've spoken everywhere to everybody.
In this state, I've spoken just about everywhere. I mean, I've been in all 4 corners, and I feel like everything in the middle. Okay. So just on, like, I always refer to as management by walking around, right? You want to...
What Bob Nuttall doesn't do.
Like, yeah. But I refer to it as management by walking around. Would you get a real feel for how people think and so forth? I mean, even something as simple in life. Hey, there's no homeless problem in L.A. No, I just saw the bridge. It's right outside the hotel. I mean, management by walking around. Altoona West, they want Penn State to play Pitt. From Altoona West, they want to play Pitt. The other 2/3 of the state, no. They want, in fact, they had to handpick anybody from Altoona East, right? Duncansville East, Notre Dame. Boy, if they could get Notre Dame back. What about Pitt? No, I want Notre Dame. Right? There's a few others they throw in there, but Pitt is not one of them. And that's the part where the Western PA part doesn't jive with the Central and Eastern PA part. And I only know this through experience, and not me asking the question.
People ask the question.
Yeah, people volunteering it. And I know when I go to Pittsburgh, it's brought up all the time, in part because Pat Narduzzi talks about it all the time. And just like we're doing a sports podcast, these are sports fans that Jack Ham and I are talking to. And guess what? They listen to sports radio.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but who's on sports radio? Pat Narduzzi. And he drives them nuts all the time. He says this, he says this, he says this. I look at them every time and I said, you don't have to listen to him. I said, and you don't have to put any credence in what he's saying because it's irrelevant. And I try to tell him, I said, you don't have to listen to what he has to say. He says, in terms of what Penn State's trying to do, he's irrelevant. Well, he's going to force somebody into doing this? Not going to force. And Penn State's playing Pitt again in basketball this year, so it's not like there's not a communication level that's not open. I think Penn State's going to play Pitt down in the Palestra. Okay, that's fine. In terms of a series, they decide to do it, fine. I don't care.
Sure.
Doesn't matter to me. Right? You want to play it, great. But I look at like over the years, like I always felt Iowa had its hands tied by the Iowa State series.
Yeah.
Like, in the end, like, who do you play? And like, well, they're non-con because when you went to 9,
that means you have 2 games left in the schedule.
Yeah, and Matt had Iowa State playing really well, so it ends up being a good game. But you don't take your fan base around the country anywhere to do anything either.
That's why I'm excited to see, like, next year, Penn State's playing Syracuse. That's going to be a really interesting thing because it's a 4-hour drive. It's like the whole idea of traveling around. It's 4 hours to get up to Syracuse, 4 hours for them to come down here. And that's interesting. Or let's say, again, as you said, with the whole traveling around piece, you take Penn State within, let's say, a 4 to 5 hour radius of here. You've got fans all over the place. These big fan bases travel. It's going to be really intriguing to see what happens with a lot of these guys going forward. So it's an added piece to it, and I'm very curious and very excited to see what happens. What? Oh, what happened?
UEFA to boycott FIFA competitions, including World Cup. Decision taking.
All right.
After emergency meeting of all 55 member nations to discuss Gianni Infantino's plan to sell a stake in FIFA to private investors.
So we have not talked about this yet. I guess we'll talk about it now. So, Steve Jones. I guess we'll flip to this topic now because I brought up Syracuse and now I go here. So, Gianni Infantino, the head of FIFA, the least corrupt organization that's ever existed.
Is he from Liverpool, New York? Or?
Gianni Infantino is not.
I'm just asking.
I know.
I didn't know. I just know there was a Syracuse thing.
But Gianni Infantino and FIFA have put into motion the fact they're going to try and sell off a stake in the World Cup. Literally sell a portion of the World Cup to private investors.
But why does the World Cup need that?
Because he wants to make more money. That is the only reason.
But they already make a ton of money.
Let me tell you, this is the discussion I've been having for the past week. Has been, why do they need this? So Gianni Infantino proposed the rule on Tuesday to raise $20 billion from a sale of equity to outside investors, saying the plan will, quote, unleash the commercial potential and opportunity that FIFA has. There's already a huge commercial revenue part of it. I don't know what you're talking about, Gianni. But FIFA basically said, oh, heck no, that's not happening because why are we selling portions of the World Cup? Apparently, Infantino then went to all of the organizations and essentially said each nation that's a part of FIFA would get up to $40 million in funding. If you do not sign up, you get $10 million in funding. Now, let me put this out there to everybody. The reason he's doing this is because if you're a lot of these nations, if you're not Spain or Brazil or any of the UEFA groups, you don't have a lot of money. You're not very well funded. It's just kind of part of it. We talk about it. This funding is less so for the other sports.
Like Ivory Coast and so forth. Yeah.
For a lot of other nations, it's less funded. So even $40 million goes a long way for a lot of organizations, for a lot of nations. And so it's I'll say it, it's basically blackmail is what he's trying to do. He's saying you sign up, you get 40. You don't, 10 million. Just straight up blackmailing them. And UEFA has now signed on up. So UEFA has announced they're going to boycott all FIFA competitions, including the World Cup, after an emergency meeting of all 55 member nations to discuss Infantino's plan. It's happened today. It's going on as we speak. It is sacrilegious and so wild to want to sell a stake. So imagine I'm going to sell a stake in the college basketball tournament. I'm going to sell a stake in March Madness, Steve Jones. What does that mean? I don't know what it means. Does that mean a hedge fund is going to buy the round of 16? Does that mean that a hedge fund gets one of the four, Final Four game, one of the Final Four games? Like, what does that look like? And that's what FIFA's doing. It's so absurd on its face that I can't. Huh?
Okay.
I please help me here. Huh?
No, there's nothing to help you with. Look, this is all right.
Go for it. Let rip.
No, but we spend a lot of time on the show talking about money.
We do.
Because you have to. Right? You're trying to educate people as to why certain things are happening and so forth. Why do you need a patch in the jersey? Why do you need why do you need to sell the rights to the field? Why do you need, okay? Why do you need to change jerseys? So we talk about that stuff. But it gets to a point where it gets out of hand.
This is getting out of hand.
And FIFA does not. Okay. You always have to ask the question: how much money do you really need? FIFA is one of those organizations. How much money do you need? Right? You already have a lot of money. Then distribute it better to all the teams out there, so they have operating revenue, because you have the capital to do it. You just had 48 in the World Cup. I don't understand the need to do that. And there is a point where too much is too much.
FIFA on the 2022 World Cup made $5.77 billion just on the 2022 World Cup. I don't know the exact number on the 2026 World Cup. I guess we'll find out at the end of the year. The expected generation is somewhere closer to like $10 billion. So FIFA made, let's say, at minimum $6 billion. They made 5.7 in 2022's. Let's say they made $6 billion. We're going low here. $6 billion minimum. $6 billion from a tournament, and you're like, you know what? We actually need to make $20 billion or $10 billion. We're in the billions of dollars. How much are you spending?
Well, I've always used this example. This is a much smaller example, and it's not a private equity example. You can take something too far, and if you have a semblance of common sense, you'll say to yourself, okay, I think you've taken it too far. I'll never forget when EA Sports put out the game, and people are buying the game, college football, whatever. I'm watching a TV commercial. It was Braxton Miller handing the ball off to Carlos Hyde. I know what the guys look like, okay, without the helmets on. Right? And you look at them, and there's like the graphics people are so good at what they do. You're like, oh, geez, well, no mystery there who those people are. But the players weren't getting any money from it. And the NCAA was getting the money. And that's when I said to myself, okay, this is a point too far. Like money grab. Now, it's not, we're talking about the billions or anything like that. I'm not talking about that. But the money, like that came off as a pure money grab. Hey, we're going to profit off of you even more so without you getting anything for it.
Well, it's like I think the NFL, the other side of that, at the time and still does, has the deal where it's like you get a certain amount every year. A player gets a check basically. For the NFL, I think the NBA is the same, where they get just a check at the start or end of the season because of their licensing in the 2K games, in all the trading cards that are submitted, all these things. Like, they get a base fee, just straight up.
And that's what happens.
And now that's the way with
college. You get a base fee plus you get the game. Okay. And
which is what it should have been from the start, but it was not because.
But again, that, like, in other words, that's a simplistic example. But I'm sitting there and I'm looking at this, and when I saw the commercial, I thought, I think you have now crossed like the final line here. This is okay. You're going too far. I feel like with FIFA, it doesn't take much to look at it right now and say, you know what? I think you've gone too far with this. And private equity expects a return. Now, FIFA should be able to give them a return, but how much of a stake did you give them in the World Cup as your return to take the money?
You want me to read UEFA's statement? Quote, "The World Cup cannot be treated as an investment product. It is one of football's greatest sporting legacies. It has been built over generations by players, national teams, and supporters across every continent. No part of it should ever be surrendered to private investors. The World Cup is not for sale." and it shouldn't be, and it's not. Like,
No.
there are the commercial opportunities
Agreed.
involved in the World Cup. If it's generating FIFA $6+ billion, how much is it generating how much it was expected to generate $15 billion in the U.S., Mexico, and Canada this year. $15 billion for the nations that host it. $6 billion for FIFA on its own, at minimum. Why do you need more money? It doesn't make sense. None of it does. I know I'm going in a circle here. UEFA then said it is both irresponsible and indefensible that a proposal of such significance for football was conceived in secret and brought to the brink of approval without any meaningful consultation with those entrusted with stewarding the game. This is not merely a profound failure of leadership, but an abdication of FIFA's duty as the custodian of world football.
All right, so I'll give you another. Let's go with an example that FIFA brought in.
Mm-hmm.
And the college football playoff championship game does. It's the same thing. Philadelphia, by the way, would not buckle on this. They said you can tailgate and do anything you want like it's a regular day. And they would not bend.
Mm-hmm.
And FIFA finally let them do it. But the ability to tailgate, you can tailgate at a World Cup match, but you have to buy a ticket to be a part of the tailgate party sponsored by whomever. It's the same thing at the college football playoff. You can tailgate, but you can only tailgate over there at the official tailgate sponsored by pick. And that's what they do. When you start dictating financially part of the experience of making it fun, people are already paying to park. They're already paying for the gas. They're already paying for the tickets, right? But in order to tailgate and just have a little more fun before you go in, and I have to go to the official tailgate to do it, I'm not allowed to do it over here, that's a bridge too far. FIFA did that in all the other cities except for Philadelphia. College football playoff does that as well. That's a bridge too far. And remember, the college football playoff, while paying out to the schools, and they're going to be paying out more than ever, the players don't get bonus money for playing in it. It's not as if like you're taking this money and they're like going, hey, this is the pool for the winning share and the losing share of the game. That doesn't happen.
Well, so how does it work? If I want to quick, I'll ask you afterwards. Continue. I'll ask you afterwards.
About how the tailgate.
So how do players get compensated? Do they get compensated?
They get compensated because the contract's for the season.
Okay, that was my question.
That's for the season.
Similar to an NFL.
Yeah, and it's monthly payments and things like that.
You get the pay rate per game is this, so you play extra games.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So that doesn't. That's it's a seasonal thing. Okay. So it's not like the NFL where you do get bonus money for rounds and so forth, which is nice to have. And for the players that don't have the mega contracts, it's a big plus. For the players with the mega contracts, it's like you can tip a little bit higher when you go to New York. There you go. We made the AFC Championship game. Here you go. But see, when you start doing things a bridge too far and you start gouging, people then start to sense you are gouging. American fans already knew the World Cup, based on the tickets, were gouging.
It was $600 to go to a game between Croatia and Senegal. Did I go? I did not, because I don't have $600 to spend on a ticket, and that doesn't include parking, and that doesn't include food, that doesn't include travel or any of it. So they're gouging. And continue.
Private equity is part of the gouging. If you can prove to fans that your private equity deal makes life better with reduced ticket prices, reduced parking prices, where suddenly you're like, oh, this is better. All right, well, but see, nobody does that.
Because private equity's whole thing is if they spend $10 billion, they want $15 billion back.
Right? So you don't ever see anybody roll anything back. And that is...
it's criminal. It is. It is shameful. It is criminal. What FIFA is doing is absurd. I'm glad UEFA has stood up and is the first one to say something about it. No one has really said otherwise up until now. The letter sent to member federations by Infantino on September 19th said that an initial $10 billion funding package would be available if the plan is approved, compared with $2.7 billion if it is rejected. It is just a crazy amount of money that's being thrown around. And it's the idea of selling off a tournament, like, we've talked about the money portion of it. Now let's talk about the game side of it. What if the private equity that buys it is based in Brazil, or based in the US, or Argentina, or Spain, or France? Let's say it's based in the US.
Right.
We already saw what happened, the backlash of the U.S. and Balogun and all of that this year.
Yeah.
Imagine what happens if a decision goes the U.S.'s way in a World Cup, let's say it's the next one, and they're playing in Portugal.
Yeah.
The decision goes the U.S.'s way, and it's been bought, part of it, by a U.S.-based private equity firm.
Right.
It's going to be 10 times worse, whatever the backlash is. Because all of a sudden it gets into all the ideas of match fixing and of FIFA trying to do a certain thing. It kind of felt that way this tournament with Argentina and the U.S., both of them, where it was like everything's going their way. Well, that's because FIFA wants Messi in the final. FIFA wants the U.S. to be there. And that was how it felt, because it was just constant. It was what everyone was talking about. And it's going to be this 20-fold, 30-fold if it ends up being the same way with a private equity firm.
I know.
It's going to get so much worse. At what point have we gone so far away from the game we were trying to get fans to watch that it is no longer recognizable? And that is the direction FIFA's trying to bring this in. And Gianni Infantino specifically, where it is just...
Well, what makes it worse is it's FIFA.
Yeah, it's FIFA. It's
right? Because they already have a reputation. Yeah. The reputation is not sterling. Same thing with the IOC. Their reputation is not sterling.
No.
And that's, okay, you're not talking about, let's say, the Mid-American Conference. They get a private equity deal. It makes sense because their TV deal is not this, so they need to find other ways. Okay, that one you can sit back and go, okay, hey, let's give them credit, whatever. These people don't need it.
No.
They don't need it.
They don't need it. It makes no sense. It's crazy. It is crazy to hear and to see. Steve Jones, the MLB trade deadline is coming up on Monday.
Yeah.
So it is set to take place. A whole lot of players are apparently on the market. The big one is Tarek Skubal, 2-time Cy Young winner, I believe, for the Tigers. Might be on the move. The team, per Jeff Passett of ESPN, that looks most likely to get him. Want you to guess.
No, the Yankees.
No.
Oh, Dodgers.
The Los Angeles Dodgers.
What do they need? Well, you know why? Because I don't think they can pitch Ohtani the rest of the year.
No.
Ohtani, I don't think is available to pitch at least for a couple of months, which to me is probably the rest of the season.
Yeah. Well, it's good.
That's the issue. Is
and
that
Blake Snell and Glasnow are on the 60-day IL right now, so they're both out.
Yeah, Tyler threw hard when he was here, but
they haven't spent enough money, Steve. They want to spend more on Skubal to then sign him to a contract this offseason. They want to spend another $500 million before whatever this crazy CBA, if it ends up ever happens.
Look,
it's just. How can the rich get richer? How? It doesn't seem feasible every year.
Okay, this is the issue with the rich getting richer, and why the poor keep staying in the spinning their wheels. Because it's always prospects. You're never getting top level players.
No, you're always selling over prospects.
Okay. For every Larry Anderson for Jeff Bagwell, or what Doyle Alexander for John Smoltz deal, where Bagwell and Smoltz were the two minor leaguers. There are 1,000. They got 4 prospects, and none of them panned out. Or we threw a couple of guys that are on the pitching staff along with a couple of prospects, and it didn't pan out. Like which guys, for example, let's take a high-profile player that got dealt before the trade deadline last year, like well before the trade deadline, Rafael Devers. But the Red Sox get in return? Nothing. They got 4 players. None of them are with the club. Okay? All you did was a salary dump.
You're basically crossing your fingers that someone's going to work. That's pretty much what it is in the MLB.
Right. But you spin your wheels. The Pirates are experts at dealing a guy and getting the Pirate fans, I mean, God love them. We got this guy. I mean, they got great. Okay. You know what prospect means? It's a fancy word of saying you haven't done anything.
In the MLB, you shouldn't evaluate a trade until 5 years later.
Sure.
It should take 5 years because then it's like, well, is this guy, or even a year, honestly, to be like, was he in our farm system? No, he's not. Never mind. Like, that's what it is. And so, there's one example.
That's why you spin your. Okay, I got Tarek Skubal. I'm the Tigers. I don't deal him because it is so rare that you get return that makes a significant difference. You're getting bodies, but you're not.
And the problem they're facing is that he is, of course, out of contract after the season. They had their arbitration case. He won it. And it looks like he is going to leave regardless in free agency. So their thing is, we've got 6 months left. We're under 500. Let's at least get something for him, which I can understand.
Like what?
But that's the thing, is what is the thing? Because then they're going to try and bankrupt an organization. One of the teams that apparently wants him and is one of the big contenders is the Brewers, with a great farm system. The Brewers made a trade in 2008 for a starting pitcher, CC Sabathia.
Yep.
That worked really well for them until they lost in the divisional series.
Right.
And the thing is, in that trade, one of those players did pan out for Cleveland, Michael Brantley. But very rarely does that happen. It is almost always nothing.
Yeah.
Like Nolan Ryan was traded for what? It was Jim Fregosi and like a pack of gum.
Well, I mean, Fregosi was an all-star player.
Yeah.
I mean, but, shortstop, third baseman. I mean, right. So when the trade was made, you're like, okay. And it turned out Fregosi didn't pan out at all for the Mets, and Ryan went to the then California Angels and was phenomenal.
Yeah. The thing was, like, Jim Fregosi got traded to the Mets for pretty much, it was Nolan Ryan went in the other direction, became Nolan Ryan.
Right. And
Fregosi
was on the other end of his career.
Did nothing.
It was on the other end of his career. Look, it's this. Almost every time when you trade an established player and you get prospects, I'd say 9.5 times out of 10, the team that made the deal didn't get better.
Yeah.
Just didn't get better. Skubal, I understand the contract situation. Okay, I got that part. But now for the Brewers, I mean, the Brewers are neck and neck with the Dodgers for the best record in all of baseball. They're neck and neck, but and they don't spend.
Yeah.
I mean, their organization actually as an organization is pretty remarkable.
About as well run as you can get. Yeah. And the Brewers have also apparently looked at Mason Miller, the reliever from the Padres. Everyone wants Mason Miller.
Right.
He is a lights out reliever.
I mean, I know the Yankees badly want him because they'd like to have Bednar be a setup guy. Okay, I got that.
But the Brewers are one that if they do this trade, and let's say they get Mason Miller, for instance, who is on the younger side. He's, how old is Mason Miller?
He's like 27 or 28.
He is 27 years old.
Well, so every time I turn around, there are doubts.
I trust you. But he's 27. You get him, you keep him for, let's say, 3 to 4 more years. That's a lot of runway. And if you're them, you've got Mizorowski, who is coming up as one of the best right-handers in baseball. Like, you've got yourself this. They have a depth of hitters in the minor leagues, and you're like, we can really go for it. And for the Brewers, you haven't won in a while. Like, go for it.
Years ago, when Walt Jocketty was the general manager of the St. Louis Cardinals, he came here to State College. So I had him on the broadcast that night. And I said to him, and this is before the trade deadline, I said, how important is it for you as you go out and see players right now? You said you're watching players in your own organization as well as watching prospects in the other team. I said, but how important is it to know not just what you're acquiring, which is always the big shiny object, but also know no matter what level you're at, what you're giving up. Mm-hmm. And he said to me, he says, Steve, that is the whole ball game right there. Mm-hmm. He says, that's why I'm here. He said, we may throw a guy into a trade that the Spikes have. He says, but I want to know who we're throwing in here as to terms of like, is there something there? And I want to see it for myself. That's why I'm here. Right? I also want to know that if they throw in a guy from that organization on the other side, I want to be able to have seen him for myself to know what they're throwing in, because this was the single A level. Mm-hmm. This was not the double or triple level. He was single A. And so he said, that's what I want to know. He says, because to be honest with you, the shiny object is easy. Mm-hmm. Right? You also want to be a good trade partner. Mm-hmm. You do not want to be the trade partner that gets the reputation of, I'm going to rip you off. Mm-hmm. Because guess what happens in 2 years? Nobody wants to trade with you. Mm-hmm. And so you do have to be a good trade partner along the way. You also have to be a smart general manager, because they don't get out there very often anymore, because everything's done with analytics and it's done with numbers and things like that. And guess what? Mm-hmm. You sit there and say, okay, I mean, you have to see players. Yeah. You can't just, and this is in every sport, okay? You need to go out and watch them play, because you need to trust your eyes and then see how it matches up with numbers and things like that. But like the little things, the little intangibles that you see, that how does a guy break on the ball? How does a guy run a route in the outfield? Right? When he runs the bases, does he cut the base? Does he take the extra base when need be? Does he have the ability to? Does he read a play really well? Those are things that they can give you stats on guys doing it. I want to see how they do it,
and that's why you see it a lot with, of course, the place it's done most is recruiting, where you've got in past years, state high games, a lot of coaches will be there in the stands, watching, because they want to see what the players look like. They want to see, okay, how does he look on first down? How is he doing on fourth down? Oh, he's on the punt team too? How does he look as a gunner? Like, they want to see what you look like the entire time you're there. They want to see what you're doing off the field. They want to see what you're doing on the field. Because if you're someone who's going to be a negative side effect in the locker room, they're not going to want you. It's a whole part of it. So when you're recruiting, you're trying to find these high schoolers, you think, you know what? This kid's got something, not just talent, but in his head, that I think we've got something here.
That's why camps are so important. And Penn State has all those camps that take place in the month of June. Like, the vast majority of players, they come in here, and they're hoping they get noticed here, but, and then they're obviously a segment that, okay, and eventually you make an offer to them. But it's been invaluable over the years, because you get to see them against competition. You also get to see them on the personality side of it. And it makes a big difference. And Joe got the camps going a long time ago, and it became a big recruiting advantage for Penn State. People are like, oh, the coaches get money from camps and so forth. Okay, they get money from the camps. That's fine. Yeah. But if it's done right, you can get a better read on an athlete on and off the field that makes a determination as, yes, we want to make an offer because we like this, and this, beyond the fact that you can catch the ball and run fast.
And when your name is not Jerry Valeria, does it help?
Can't do either.
Thank you for listening to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, a 7 Mountain Media production. Come back at 11 every weekday for analysis of the latest happening in the sports landscape. From college football to European soccer, Steve and Kyle cover it all on Sports Talk with Steve Jones.